Hello, folks. Kyurem is banned, which is crazy. It was right down to the wire. It was a 61.76 ban percentage. It was razor thin margin to push Kyurem over the threshold for being banned. So what does this mean for the rest of the meta? We're going to talk about that later. As per always, I'm going to do these videos the same, where I'm going to talk about why it got banned, what sets got it banned, and then I want to talk about meta implications for this, because I don't know if you guys remember the Four Horsemen of the OU Apocalypse. I talked a lot about Kyurem being one of the pillars, and I kind of want to talk about what it means for the rest of the tier now that Kyurem is gone. So first of all, talk about what got Kyurem banned. The main reason wasn't probably that it was too good, it's that it had too many viable sets. It was too unpredictable, and if you got the set wrong, you were on the back foot for the rest of the game. It's not like Iron Valiant, where if you get the set wrong, it's like whatever, you can recover. No, you can't recover if you get the set wrong here. So first of all, the loaded dice set. This is probably my favorite set personally. You have two great multi-hit moves, one which even boosts your speed even further. They're both very strong moves. They're very, well, Scale Shot's a little less reliable, but Icicle Spear is very reliable. You run a third option, you can run Shadow Claw, you can run Terra Blast Ground, you can run Terra Blast Electric, whatever kind of coverage you need, that's what Kyurem got. And so even the physical set has a lot of unpredictability with it, right? And then of course Dragon Dance just to further boost your attack and your speed. We got Ice. I've seen this mixed Kyurem Nevermelt Ice set a lot on the ladder. I blame Pokegame for popularizing a few months ago, but it's a pretty good set. You run Ice Spear, Earth Power, Freeze Strike, Dragon Dance. I apologize, I do not have EV set for any of these. You're just gonna trust me on that the EVs are goated. Okay, so basically, yeah, Ice Spear, Earth Power, Freeze Strike, Dragon Dance. This set was very hard to wall because your physical walls got beat by Freeze Strike, like Dondozo, for example. And then your special walls got beat by Ice Spear, and that would be like Clodsire, for example. We got a spec set of Kyurem, which, I mean, this is just all out attack, Draco Meteor, Ice Beam, Earth Power, Freeze Strike. This exact same set, I've also seen run Heavy Duty Boots, so it's a boots attacker, because Kyurem is weak to rocks, so takes 25% on the switching every time. Not great. And then we got Protect Kyurem. I honestly don't think I've ever seen this set run around, but it is one that the damage calculator suggested, so I thought I would at least mention it. It's two special attacking moves: Substitute, Protect, Leftovers, Recovery, and it really took advantage of the snow. And that's another reason Kyurem got banned, was because of this Pokemon named Slowking Galar, who has the move Chilly Reception, which, you know, sets a snow, and because of the new buffs in Gen 9, snow gives you a 1.5 defense boost. So Kyurem was very hard to kill. On top of it being a very potent attacker with 130 attack and special attack, it has a base HP of 125 and defenses of 90. The defense of 90 was boosted to 324 with no investment, which is just crazy. So it's very hard to wall. You can get some silly calculations. For example, King Gambit, even with 5 guys dead in the chamber, Ironhead would not kill this Kyurem Substitute Protect set. Which is crazy, because that's like a super effective hit, and it probably should kill, but it didn't. So yeah, those are some of the sets that got Kyurem banned. I wanted to be brief about this. I hope 4 minutes is brief enough. Let's talk about meta implications. So again, I talked about Kyurem being a pillar for the OU tier. Even though it's probably broken, probably ban worthy, it's part of what holds the tier together with the other broken stuff in the tier. I think Kyurem was the least offensive example of the 4 pillars. I think of the 4 pillars, it's the easiest one to knock down and not disrupt literally everything that else that's going on. Compared to Zamazenta, for example, which I think we banned Zamazenta, or King Gambit, for example, the whole tier is kind of in disarray for a month at least. So my first thought was, what is good now that Kyurem is gone? And what is not good now that Kyurem is gone? And I'm going to start with what's good now that Kyurem's gone. And honestly, it was kind of hard for me to think of Pokemon, because the Kyurem is so unpredictable that the right set hits the right thing. You know what I mean? Like Dondozo, for example, right? You You say Dondozo usage is good, is now going to be better, or you could say it's now going to be worse, because while it did wall the physical set, it didn't wall the mixed set or the special set. Clodsire, another example, unaware Clodsire, or you'd probably rather be water absorbed because you don't want to be unaware to the Draco Meteor defense drops. That set got destroyed by the physical attacker. So it's kind of hard for me to say, but I think the easiest thing for me to say, I know this is a crutch maybe to point and laugh at the ground types, but I'm going to point and laugh at the ground types because this is obviously the most prolific example of Pokemon that are going to be better now. Because I thought of Gliscor, and Gliscor normally runs Terra Water, so which also lost to Freeze Dry. So Gliscor, it was just in hell with Kyurem, and Gliscor I think is the main one to watch out for because it was already banned once in the Teal Mask DLC, and now that Kyurem, one of its main checks, is gone, I think we need to watch. I think Gliscor needs to be on watch for being too broken now. Great Tusk, physical set, it could stomach the physical set a little bit. Sorry, wrong tab. Obviously, it cannot eat freeze dries up even at max HP, but the physical set, yeah, it could take it pretty well. It could take it somewhat well. Okay, not that well, but you know, it could switch into it in Terra at least. So I think Great Tusk is going to be a little bit better now. I think Kingambit sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's keep talking about the ground types. Clodsire, again, I think is going to overall be more used because it doesn't have to fear Ice Spear. Kyurem, Iron Treads is the only ground type I'd say which isn't really affected by this because Iron Treads was already faster than Kyurem. And it also has a Steel type to offset it. So Lander's Styrian will obviously be better here. Lander's Styrian cannot wall physical or special sets because Kyurem always ran an Ice type move, obviously. So Landers will be better. Kingambit. So Kingambit is one of the pillars of the OU Apocalypse. And I'm not saying Kingambit overall is going to be more used, but I do think the Air Balloon set will be a little bit less used because part of Air Balloon's purpose was to switch in to maybe Earth Power Kyurem. And obviously that's not around anymore. So I can see Air Balloon getting dropped on Kingambit. I've seen Air Balloon kind of pick up in usage lately. And I think it'll be a lot. I think that'll be a lot less used. Speaking of Air Balloon users, Golden Go. Golden Go is also a prolific Air Balloon user. I still think it'll run Air Balloon just because the main reason it ran Air Balloon wasn't for Earth Power Kyurem, but for Great Tusk. So I don't think usage for this will drop a whole lot, but thought it was worth mentioning. Other Pokemon that might be used more, Dragonite. Dragonite's a big one, obviously being 4 times weak to Ice typing. And the fact that Dragonite just couldn't really do anything to Kyurem because Dragonite rarely runs a Dragon type move. Dragonite usually runs something like Extreme Speed, Earthquake, some kind of coverage move, and then Dragon Dance. Sometimes I've seen some of these run Roost. I've seen a lot run Ice Spinner. It really just depends on what kind of coverage you're asking for. But either way, would not be necessary for Kyurem. Or, excuse me, would not hit Kyurem unless you were the rare Dragonite that ran Dragon Claw, which I think was seeing some popularity. Right, I've seen Dragon Claw, Dragonite rising in popularity lately. So that, but you know, obviously, I think that's probably going to go away now because I think Dragon Claw was a lot to hit Kyurem. But I think Dragonite's going to go up in popularity a lot overall because of Kyurem's ban. I would say Enamorous, same thing, but Enamorous usually ran Choice Scarf, so it could even come in on a +1 Kyurem just fine. Dragapult will probably be used a little bit more, but on also kind of same case where it's faster than Kyurem, so if you could safely switch Dragapult in, it could always check Kyurem. Who are some other guys? I'm trying to think of other ones who might be a little bit more used here. I gotta talk about the only horseman I haven't talked about is Zamazenta and Darkrai. And Zamazenta I'll talk about in a minute, but Darkrai, I'm just gonna say I don't think Darkrai is really affected much at all by this. just because there's not, the only thing I would say Darkrai was good for is coming in, because it was faster, but you could never really switch Darkrai in, maybe on one hit, but Darkrai's not the tankiest guys, and also not the most reliable to check Kyurem, because your Kyurem check was Focus Blast. That's your coverage move, and we all know Focus Blast is not the most reliable move in the game, so I would say Darkrai didn't really change. Zamazenta, however, let's use Zamazenta as a start point for talking about Pokemon that will now probably see less usage and not more usage because of this. So Zamazenta, obviously, great Pokemon. Fantastic all-around body press set. Gotta love it. The Iron Defense body press simulator that Zamazenta is. We love Zamazenta for that. Not really. But anyway, body press was a great move into Kyurem. Even Specs Kyurem. Specs Kyurem had the downfall that Zamazenta was always faster than it. So Zamazenta can always revenge Kyurem. It could always come in on Kyurem at least once, especially the physical set. It could always come in against, it could always tank a special hit, and then body press obviously just does a lot of damage between the defense raise, you could iron defense on physical Kyurems, and you wouldn't have to worry that much about it. And then stab body press is always just going to be really good. But I think Zamazenta actually sees less usage now because of this ban, which is probably healthy overall for the metagame, considering Zamazenta is a very, very, very strong guy already. So it's actually nice to see a change that would make it a little bit less prolific, a little bit less prominent, you could say. Other Pokemon that'll probably see less usage. I think Unaware Clef will probably see less usage. I don't think Unaware Clef saw a whole lot of usage before, but Unaware Clef was a great, Max Fizdef Unaware Clefable was a great answer to the loaded dice set, and to just physical in general. And you could always be unaware because you can't get hit by Draco Meteor anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Unaware backfiring on you for the special attack drops wasn't really ever coming into play, so you can run Unaware pretty freely against it. And I think the set will see a little bit less usage now that it is gone. I'm pausing it now because I don't want to waste your guys' time just thinking about Pokemon, by the way. I just thought I'd throw that out there. And we're 12 minutes into the video, so I can say this without many of you clicking off, because I know most of you are interested in the video at this point. And also, thank you. I appreciate you still being with me at the video at this point. Anyway, back to actual stuff. Primarina. Primarina will probably see less usage. Primarina was a very good answer into it because it's very bulky on the Spadef side, and anything Kyurem would be using on the Fizdef side, unless it was Terra Electric Blast, would not do much damage to Primarina at all. Let me just, nope, wrong tab again, Carter, good lord. Primarina. Let's just use the offensive Calm Mind set as a reference point. As you can see, the Fizdef set just did not do much damage. Even Ice Spear wasn't really doing a whole lot to a no defense invested Primarina, and the Spadef invested Primarina wasn't taking much either, except from Freeze Dry. Freeze Dry was a problem for it with the mix set, but then if you're running Primarina Assault Vest, you're taking a whole lot less from that. Or if you're running like max bulk Spadef, which I don't know why you would, because it's not really exist. Freeze Dry has a chance to not even 2-hit KO you, which is pretty cool. Also, let me zoom in on this. Sorry, y'all. Probably can see it a lot better like that now. But yeah, Primarina was a good answer into most of the sets as long as you got the switch in right, and it wasn't mixed Freeze Dry or proc Freeze Dry or Choice Specs Freeze Dry. Thinking of what other Pokemon might see a little bit less usage now. I think those are the main ones. Slowking Galar. Yeah, I've got to talk about Slowking Galar, because Slowking Galar was a great Spadef wall. Obviously did not match up well into the Fizdef set, but for the special attackers, Slowking Galar was great into. I still think Slowking does Slowking things, so I don't think its usage is going to drop that much, to be completely honest with you all. But I do think that Slowking Galar was very good into the Kyurem, and I do think that its usage or prominence will probably drop ever so slightly just because of this. I think Weavile also actually gains usage out of this. I know we already talked about the guys who gain usage, but I want to talk Weavile because I think other ice types were kind of getting outshadowed by Kyurem, and also Weavile is now the only OU ice type in the tier at this point, which is kind of crazy actually. All the others have been banned. Bax is gone. Shin Pao is gone. Iron Bundle should never have been in it, to be honest, but it's gone now. Well, I shouldn't say that about Iron Bundle. We could talk about Iron Bundle, but let's talk about that guy later. But yeah, I think Weavile could actually see some returning usage now that it's the only ice type in the tier. And honestly, it might not even be the only ice type. It might be gone after once these teardrops hit in October. So it might be gone actually too. Which would be really funny if there was not a single ice type in the OU tier for a month, which is looking very likely to happen. But I think Weavile will see some more usage now. I think it'll come back to OU once Kyurem is banned. Now that people will want an ice type and they will need an ice type, and Weavile is the only ice type they can turn to. So I think Weavile will return to usage. Dragons. Is there any other dragons I forgot to talk about that might see more usage now? Raging Bolt. Yeah, actually, Raging Bolt will probably get more annoying now because Kyurem was good into Thunderclap, and it was always outspeeding Raging Bolt to kill it with Ice Spear or try and kill it with Ice Beam. So I think Raging Bolt will be very good now. Walking Wake, I can't really say the same for because Walking Wake is faster than Kyurem anyway, so it could always come in Draco as long as you didn't switch it in on Freeze Dry or Draco Meteor. Or, I mean, even Ice Beam will probably do a lot, but, as long as you piloted it right, Walking Wake should always be able to come in on Kyurem and kill it. And kind of same to Roaring Moon, except Roaring Moon didn't ever really run a move to kill Kyurem with. I don't really see a lot of Outrage Roaring Moon, so Garchomp. I think Garchomp will actually has a chance to come back to OU now that there's not any ice types in the tier. Of course, ice coverage is still the best coverage typing in the game. I believe at least. But, now that there's no more actual ice types in the tier, I think Garchomp actually has a chance to come back to OU. It's never Gar over, folks. It is never Gar over. So who's next on the chopping block? Let's talk about who's next. So I don't have it pulled up, but part of the reason this Kyurem suspect test was shorter than usual is because the OU council said there was other things they wanted to test. So who's next on the chopping block for getting suspect tested? And my guesses would be, King Gambit probably is. I think my best guess would be Zamazenta. I think Zamazenta is probably the next one due for a suspect test. People have been complaining about this guy for a long time, and I'm actually shocked that Kyurem got suspected first. I really should go and look at that, the tiering survey, because that would probably tell me who's getting suspectedness, and I probably just look like I'm very stupid right now and don't know ball. But I bet Zamazenta is probably close to next on the chopping block. I think Darkrai. Actually, I don't think Darkrai is at risk of suspect anymore. So I should mention Darkrai because I want to appear like I know I have a pulse on the OU tier. I don't think Darkrai is really at risk of being suspected tested right now. I don't think it's actually the greatest Pokemon in the world. I don't think it's that great at all, actually. I mean, it's good, but it's not that good. Raging Bolt. I think Raging Bolt actually has a chance of being suspect tested. I don't think Raging Bolt is broken, but I could definitely see people trying to argue that Raging Bolt is broken and that it deserves a suspect test. So I think Raging Bolt has a chance of getting suspected pretty soon here. So I think Raging Bolt, I think the best, if I was to say a number 3 for most likely to get suspected test, who would I say? I would probably say Gliscor, actually. And I don't say Gliscor now at this point in time in our lives, but more of like in a month from now, I think Gliscor will get looked at again just because now that Kyurem is gone and there's not a single ice type in the OU tier, I think we're going to have to look at Gliscor again as a serious OP Pokemon. And yes, I will be running the infamous Pincher Tit set. Shoutouts to my boy Hate Rice for that set, but we're going to be running that set non-stop now that Kyurem is gone. because it's just so good. And by the way, for those who don't know, Pinch Your Tits is a double dance Gliscor set, which is pretty epic. So I think those are the 3 that are most likely to be next on the chopping block. I think another suspect test will start in the next week, probably, for one of these guys. And yeah, I'm curious to see how those will go. So what are my thoughts overall on this Kyurem ban? Well, I'm gonna be nice to Finchinator. Apparently, it's Finchinator's birthday today, so I'm gonna be nice. I'm gonna pull my punches, because no one deserves to be slandered on their birthday, except for journalists. Screw journalists. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I can say that. I can say that because I am one. So, sorry, that was so off topic. Anyway, back to what we were getting at. Kyurem ban. I don't know. I think, you know, you let the democratic process play out with Kyurem, and if people are saying it was a problem, there's a reason the suspect test it. So you can't really blame anyone in upper management for this. This isn't an upper management problem, right? Personally, I would have voted to not ban Kyurem, though. It's annoying to fight, and if you get the set wrong, it sucks. But honestly, Kyurem was really fun to use. And I don't mean that because it was OP. I just mean, I think Kyurem was a really fun Pokemon to pilot, especially the loaded dice set. I love the loaded dice set. I hate seeing Kyurem go, because I really do think it was a fun Pokemon to pilot. I know you should never base fun off of whether or not Pokemon should get banned, but I really did have a lot of fun. The only thing I will say is this mixed Kyurem set was actually really difficult to wall. That is the one thing I will say. I mean, this is pretty much perfect coverage, folks. You pretty much can't get more perfect coverage than this. I mean, you can even hit the water types with freeze dry. I mean, that's the whole point of it. That's why it's perfect coverage. But I mean, you can't get better coverage than this on it, genuinely. So, this set was really annoying to wall. But I do think the meta shifted to take care of Kyurem, you know? I think text became a thing. I think the meta has shifted itself to take care of Kyurem. Obviously, getting the set wrong, it blows. It sucks so bad. But I don't know. I think Kyurem's a really fun guy to pilot, and I'm kind of disappointed to see it go just because of that, and not really anything with the whole like administration side of trying to get Kyurem to get out of here, because that's not it. But I would have personally banned or voted not to ban it. I was going to get the suspect rest, but as you can see in the upper right-hand corner, I used the wrong prefix, and Smogon decided not to fix my name. So, fantastic. I didn't want to replay 50 games trying to get the suspect Rex. I'm not going to pretend like I got the suspect Rex on this account, because I didn't. But I was already 50 games in when I was, and I was just like, I don't want to do this again. So, we didn't do it. But anyway, that's what I think. I think it's fair that it was suspected, and as long as it was democratically played out, I can't be too mad about the outcome of it. I personally just would not have voted to ban it, because I think Kyurem is fun and epic and not problematic enough. Not as problematic as some other guys. So that's just my personal opinion. But yeah, that's all I got to say about this. I will also... That's all. That's the Kyurem video. So if you're here for Kyurem, great. The video's over with. Get the hell out of here. But for the real ones, for the part that the thugs don't skip, I just want to say thank you so much for 1,000 subscribers. I genuinely did not know if this was going to be possible. I was starting to lose faith, and honestly, I'm not really sure where the channel's going, but I'm going to keep it pushing. And I'm very happy. I'm very thankful for you all helping me reach this goal, doing this together. I want to keep blowing up. I want to keep doing good. I want to be a better creator. I just really appreciate hitting 1K, because I never thought it was possible. So, I know childhood me is like super giddy right now, probably being like, no way you actually hit 1K. I would love to make this my full-time job. I genuinely would. I would love to just be able to quit my day job and do this full-time. If that was ever a possibility, I would 100% do it on the spot. Wouldn't even think twice about it. So, we're gonna see where this channel goes. I just want to be very appreciative and thankful. If you're not already subscribed, consider subscribing. You don't have to, but you're maybe you're not the most of OGs, but I mean, you're still going to be considered an OG when we're at 1 trillion subscribers. So, you know, it's never too late to sub. We do have memberships. I don't think many of you know about this, so that's the only reason I'm really saying anything about it right now. But yeah, we do have memberships. If you guys want to check them out, you get a little badge and you get some fun emojis to use in my comments. So yeah, consider doing that. And also, we will be doing a hat giveaway here soon. I need to lock the hell in and get it figured out what we're doing for the hats, like what the hats are. I'm thinking it's just going to say like, welcome to the club on the front of it. And that's going to be the hat. So, but yeah, stay on the lookout for that. It should be coming up here soon. And yeah, once again, thank you all so much for 1,000 subscribers. I really appreciate it. That's all I got for today. So have a great rest of your day, folks. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.